Hello everybody, this is Brazen Spirituality of Avatars Radio, and we are now live at Net's combat class on deck building. So if you would like to attend and learn more about building a combat deck, not just for playing versus player battles, but also for combat against the critters in the world that must be annihilated, please go /zone/net to join this event. We are in the Novice Academy at Port Phoenix in Kingsport. And I will be repeating for you everything that Net says and whatever else that comes to mind. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Net says, "Hello all, and welcome to the second of my combat lessons. Please take your seats. Today, we will be discussing deck building. But before that, there are a few things that you should know about combat math." He didn't tell me to bring a calculator. I hope I don't need it. Actually, advanced knowledge of statistics would be handy here, but there is no time for that. You can learn about that elsewhere anyway. That's good, because that is way over my head. Net says, "Let us just say that the key to victory is to deal more damage than your opponent." Well, duh. How to achieve that? Stronger attacks. I should have thought of that, Net. Thank you. Net says, if you do more damage than your opponent with your attacks, you are on a good path to win the battle. Net continues, faster attacks. If you attack more often than your enemy, and you hit them more often, then you should do more damage over the same period of time. Healing. Healing? Yes, healing. Every damage you heal is damage you have not received. If you manage to heal more hit points than you have lost, it is as if you did some damage yourself. He continues, resistance and immunity. If you get resistance against your opponent's attacks, your attacks get proportionally stronger even though they do the same damage. Counters. For example, Douse clears negative effects of fire. The sooner you use it, the less damage you get in total, and thus you make the attack of your opponent much weaker. Interrupts and stuns. Every time you interrupt your opponent, they waste their time doing nothing. You can interrupt them by attacking them. Dots, or damage over time, are especially effective at interrupts. Every time you stun them, they cannot attack you, and they cannot heal themselves. It is time you can use to your advantage. Control. Spells like Gust, Confusion, or Roots do no damage, yet if you use them wisely, you get to control the movement of your opponent. You can choose to fight at a distance that suits you the best, or your opponent the least. That's actually an awesome idea. I like that. I'm going to have to take notes. No pen and paper. Booty. Net continues. So, any questions so far before we move on to actual deck building? And we interrupt this for a quiet little interlude. La 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 la. Okay, that was about enough of that. Let's see. While we're waiting to see if there's any questions, I'm going to try to work along with his lessons. So I am opening up my deck screen and my glitz screen and even my skill screen, although I don't know for sure that I'll need that. I like to be prepared. So, Mimner asks, is ice good for control too? And Net says, yeah, ice works quite well. He says, I will get to different skill trees later in the lesson, which is awesome, because some people are permanudes named Brazen Spirituality, and they could really use these lessons to learn how to not be lame. He says, no more questions? Okay. Now we can move to the very subject of this lesson. There are several things to consider when you make a deck. First, what level you are. Second, who will you be fighting? I would highly recommend you to reach at least level 50 or 60 before fighting other avatars, which would mean PvP or player versus player. Third, what style of combat suits you the best? When you are low level, you need a really simple deck. Hey, he's been looking at my screen! Okay, I'm sorry, I'll try to behave. And you need to find enemies who are not too strong, or you need to find allies and use strength in numbers. As a mage, I start with Death Touch and Flame Fist. These spells do not require reagents. Death Touch also heals me. If you stack 2 Death Touches, they will not cost you any focus. This is good because you need to be careful to manage your focus at lower levels. Also, I use random deck. I do not like locked decks. You have to wait too long to be able to use any ability again, and the focus cost is really high. With a random deck, you need There I go, tripping over my tongue. It is what I do best, folks. I have mad skills at this. Alright, let me start that one over. With random deck, you need glyphs to come as fast as possible. You should max out your mental reflex as soon as possible. As a mage, you also need to increase your intelligence to deal and heal more damage. And of course, you need a bigger hand, so you have the widest variety of glyphs available to you at all times. La 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 la. Okay. Other incredibly useful focus tree spells are Mind Lock and Mind Wipe. Both allow you to control the glyphs you use. I highly recommend Mind Lock for PvE, while Mind Wipe is better for PvP. Let me say that again. Both allow you to control the glyphs you use. I highly recommend Mind Lock for player versus everything, while Mind Wipe is better for player versus player. As you grow stronger, you should increase your strength and dexterity and allow yourself to carry more stuff. It is good to gather between fights. It will provide you with extra gold. Also, quick disposal of bodies will attract more creatures for some reason. Do not put points in more skills than you use. Try to limit abilities to your deck size. Max those innate skills. If you fight in a group, you should really consider using Resurrection. It does make death less of a pain, though it still hurts. Although I might add that Resurrection is not an option when you're low level, maybe mid level, because you can only spend so many points at once. Anyhow, Net continues, other handy spells are Light or Night Vision, making night fights more bearable. Some people will enjoy Blink, though it is not a practical skill for combat. Woody has corrected me. PvE is not player versus everything. It's player versus environment. Thanks, Woody. I love you too. Net continues, at higher levels you will want to use area of effect spells, allowing you to deal with multiple opponents at once. You do not have to use reagents, but the fizzle rate will be high if you do not. These spells allow you to progress quickly. Another effective way of quick progression is making use of fire. Burning enemies will often die on their own. You need to use 1 or 2 spells to kill them. Attack one, let them burn, and meanwhile fight the others. La la la, la la la, la la la. Who are you fighting? Det asks. Every enemy has its strengths and weaknesses. Do not let them use their strengths and exploit their weaknesses. Explanation mark. He's very emphatic about this. Slime, for example, is vulnerable to magic, but only if you do not use physical attacks. It splits if you use physical attacks, and you will face an ever-increasing number of enemies, so deal with them by using magic. Some enemies are strong up close. Deal with them at range, or use some sort of protection to minimize damage. Some enemies are good at distance. Dispose of them quickly. Other avatars will be the toughest enemies you are likely to meet. They may not have the strongest attacks or the best defenses, but they are cunning creatures. However, other avatars are also prone to making mistakes. They tend to overestimate themselves and underestimate their opponents. If you are clever enough, you will use that knowledge to your advantage. If someone is strong up close, make them believe they can come to you. Let them come to you while you stand still and prepare your defense. Also, whenever you can, use the terrain to your advantage. Hide to heal. Do not let your opponent do the same. When they try to run away, get to them. When they want you to come to them, keep your distance. If you want to win, you must be the one making the rules. If you prefer to attack up close, try to get behind your enemy. They cannot defend very well to attacks from behind. So for the deck, use abilities that let you use your strengths and prevent your opponent from doing the same. Confusion, root, or stuns work great if you want to keep distance. Douse works well to counter fire attacks. Magical shields tend to mitigate various types of damage. Taking a quick sip of water, folks. No la 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 for you. What style of combat suits you most? Is it always being on the move? Is it holding your position? Is it a support role? Perhaps it's ranged, or melee, or stealth. Different styles require different decks, yet still some rules are common to all. Sorry about that. Just sending a little message telling somebody how to get here. So, as I was saying, different styles require different decks, yet still some rules are common to all. You want your deck to be predictable for you. Do not use more glyphs than you have to. For the same reason, use Mind Wipe or Mind Lock. You want some attacks in your deck. Those really depend on your style. If you have only melee attacks, you need glyphs to let you use them, either slowing your opponent or making you faster. You want heals. Both life and death magic work. You might want some counters. shields, purify, douse, smelling salts. I have never heard of smelling salts. See, I told you, I'm a noob, y'all. You might want some crowd control spells like roots and stuns. Well, those are the basic rules of making the deck. Of course, in the end, you need to find the right ratio between various abilities. From my experience, you should have at least 10 attack glyphs, and if you PvP, 5 mind wipes and 3 douse or purifies. If you can use more of the same glyph, it allows you to stack them to save focus and do more damage. And try to get glyphs allowing you to make combos. More about stacking and combos in the next lesson. Net says to insert a la 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 here. You are buddying a pal, Net. Really, I'm learning to love you. I'm just saying. Yep. Any questions on this part of the lesson? Net asks. So, if you have questions, insert them here quickly so I don't have to la 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 at you guys, because nobody really wants that. Yes, that's right, Thaddeus. Nobody wants to hear me go la la la. Oh, except Ned. But, sometimes I question his sanity. Just saying. Garian Balthazar has a question about strength. How much is good or minimal needed for a level 50 to 60 main melee fighter? Amber wants to hear me la la la. Alright, Amber, just for you, girl. La 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 la. There you go. Yeah, you guys know they're recording this and I will have this down for posterity. Just saying, you guys kind of suck. Yeah. Net says, fighting stronger is better, unless you want to loot what the weak has. As for the strength, he would say that having at least 25 for strength would be needed to answer Garian's question about a level 50 to 60 main melee fighter. And Jada Foxloudon pipes in with, I would concur with that. I hope you're talking about the strength thing and not my la la la's, because seriously, y'all are twisted. Yeah, I'll get you guys for this later. I will get you, my pretty. Yes, I will. Just saying. And now they're debating whether 100 points in strength is sufficient. Garian says 100 is nearly all the points you get at level 50. So, yeah, just being a noob, I still say that sounds like too much. Too much in strength. Okay, guys. Net says, well, you cannot have 100. 50 plus is possible, though. It allows you to have awesome health, but not much resistance or useful abilities at 50-ish levels. Destrafa asks if you can stack 5 if you only have 3 glyphs. I think technically that might be possible. Aha, Net specifies yes you can, but it is a bug. Which, in case you didn't know, means that our beloved devs, who are probably listening to this gibberish, will be stopping those bugs post-haste. With vigorous aggression, as last I heard, they start singing things like La Cucaracha, and stomping all the bugs. Just saying. Jokda Foxloudon says that he will tell you that and I'm assuming he means in player versus player here, a player will eat up the awesome health in a second without other useful abilities. And Net says, your deck usually has only limited number of glyphs. Okay, let's move on. Yes, please. Thank you. I love you, Net. Mwah. Mwah. There, I blew kiss. Now, to guide you through the wide variety of skill trees, I will mention a few things about each of them that you should pay attention to. Focus. That's right. He said, focus. Not a magic tree itself. Skills in here help you to manage your deck, plus there is the intelligence innate. You really want to invest your skill points in this skill tree, no matter your build. See, I'm a good girl. I opened my skill menu, even though I wasn't sure I would need it, and now I'm so glad I did. Let's see. Do I have them there? I have my intelligence, my higher consciousness, my eidetic memory, my mindfulness. Yeah, I'm good. Strength and dexterity innates are in this tree. There's also skill for... Really? Oh, tactics. He scrolled fast and I missed it. Tactics. Skills in this tree allow you to carry more stuff with you, increase your hit points, and allow you to modify defensive, offensive stances. Strength and dexterity innates are in this tree. Yes, the tree of tactics. There is also a skill for offhand attack for dual wielders. Next is light armor. That's right, light armor. Skills here allow you to move more quickly and defend yourself better while wearing light armor. Seleth, I will get you, my pretty. Oh, yes, I will, making me laugh on the air like that. Seleth said that he feels the need to dance around a sombrero. Alright, Net says, heavy armor. Skills here help you to use heavy armor effectively. Really? Yay. Okay. Swords. Swords are great at doing lots of damage at close range. And yes, by the way, those are swords, not swords. Just saying. Bludgeon. Heavy weapons that can stun your opponents if you train with them. Pole arms. These weapons have the greatest reach of all melee weapons, and they have knockback abilities. And who answered Jinx's question, do blades equal swords? The answer from Net is yes, Jinx. Kazan Phoenixfire clarifies that that includes swords and daggers and blades. Yep, they are under swords. Alright, on a personal note, I'm kind of fond of pole arms. They're really awesome for other things that have lots of reach and knockdown, like big, ugly, disgusting bears. Okay, they're really pretty in the forest, not so good when they're shredding me into bits. That's when they're disgusting. Okay, so back to Net's lesson, ranged. The only skill tree for archers. If you want to be effective with a bow, you need to invest a lot of points in ranged. Also, you need to buy special arrows to make use of the special abilities. And in my experience, those special arrows start making the battle a little more expensive, but I think you have the same problem with mages. Although, I've never played a mage. Sorry. Okay, and the category of shield. The skill tree that will help you fight with your shield equipped. Jay Sandless asks if there's any way to use something like a polearm with a shield. Net says he's not very familiar with the combat tree since he focuses on mage. However, Kays and Phoenixfire answers yes, you can use a one-handed pole arm. Amber Rain says that bears, contrary to my opinion, are not big and ugly, although some need to be knocked down, as she eyes the few bears in the room. We have bears? Bears in the room? I'm so confused. How did we get bears in the room? I don't see any bears. Good. Oh, Lord Grey Fox is a bear. Look at that. I never would have thunk. Okay. Jackdaw Fox Loudon has a question regarding the armor skills. Is it still accurate that your chest piece determines the armor skill used? Swiftness in light armor is handy. It allows you to move faster in the end. Your chest piece determines the armor type you are wearing, and abilities you use are depending on that. So I would extrapolate from that you could in fact mix and match, and yes, that it would be your chest piece that determined how they were considered in combat. I never thought of mixing and matching, but that's a nice thought. I'll have to consider that. Luca asks, is that a bug? And Net says, no, it's a feature. I kind of like the feature. Just my own opinion. Radonic Metzger asks, can you dual wield with a sword? That's right, sword. And polearm, and be able to use both skill trees. Net responds, you can dual wield, but you can use only your primary hand. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's see. Malachi Leadfoot asks, when fighting with light armor, should you move around your opponent or stand still and fight? Or does it matter? Kazan says, wait, no, you guys are answering questions out of time. It's making me having a hard time here. Okay, back to the dual wield with a sword and pole arm. Net answered, you can dual wield, but you can only use your primary hand. He continues, the other hand is used only for offhand attack. And Kazan Phoenixfire says, your offhand is only going to use the offhand attack skill. So if you don't have the offhand attack skill, well, la la la. With one exception, any skill that adds to the damage by that weapon type. And the question about fighting with light armor, and whether you should move around your opponent or stand still and fight, Net responds, you should move around your opponent, attacking them from behind raises the damage that you deal. Okay, we're going to move on. And Jinx clarifies that the weapon you use in your primary hand will determine which skill tree you use. Thanks, Jinx. I know, I'm 30 seconds ahead/behind everybody else, so it's a little awkward sometimes, but we'll get used to it. Let's see, Net continues that Chaos. This tree is separate from the rest. Spells here are rather random, but can be extremely powerful. They are great for confusing your enemies. I'm looking at Amber, and I'm waiting because she will have a remark. Oh yes, she will. I've met Amber, and she loves chaos. So I'm going to vamp because she will say something. I just know she will. And Amber says, radio delay is normal. just like in the Hangout streams from the devs. Yes, I know it's normal. I just said it's a little awkward. Sheep says, I love chaos? No way. Yes way. Yes you do. I'm well aware of it. I'm just saying. Alright. Net. When he says Amber's very confusing. No way. Okay, back to Net. He has said air. His favorite school of magic. It has instant spells which can stun as a bonus. They may not be doing the most damage, but you can also cast them on the run. Ooh, nice. I like that. Net says, oh, and some abilities will help you move around at a much higher rate. This is also amazifying, because I tend to get squished like a bug. I'm not the most coordinated person in the world. Probably why I'm a permanoob. Ooh, and now Net talks about death magic. Death magic is quite a popular school of magic because of the life drain abilities. I also heard a rumor that it doesn't just drain life, but it gives you some life, which I find a little odd, and maybe even chaotic and definitely counterintuitive. Anyhow, earth magic. Earth magic has two forms. First, increasing your resistance and strength, and second, slowing or stunning your enemies. Fire. Great school of magic, full of damage over time, dots. If you combine several different spells from this tree, you can watch your enemies burn. Nice. That doesn't sound evil at all, Net. Not even a little bit. Nope. Life. Another favorite school of magic of mine, so he's not even a little bit contradictory either. Healing yourself and your friends is what you need in any combat. Never underestimate the power of the skilled healer should you go adventuring in a group. This, in case nobody knew it, is the one thing I don't suck at. I'm a good healer. I'm a horrible lead. I'm not a good tank. Nope, not me. But if you want somebody that's got your back, that's me. So, just saying. And moon magic. If you like stealth, you should keep an eye on this school of magic. It also has night vision and mesmerizing skills, and innates that activate at night. You know, I haven't paid enough attention to Moon. All I've gotten is the night vision. I should look into that. And by the way, I have to tell the devs, I happen to love the night vision. It's really, really great. I use it just for resource gathering at night. It's very useful. Even if I fizzle a lot, I don't care. It's awesome. Alright, sun magic. Revealing hidden light and mesmerizing. That's right, me tripping over my tongue. Revealing hidden light and mesmerizing skills. That is what you get from this school of magic. It also has innates that activate during the day. Nice. Did not know that either, but now I know this and will check those out. Water magic. Slowing effects and counters against fire magic. I'm going to go on a really thin ledge here. I'm going to say that Douse is under water magic. Just a guess. And Net asks if there are any questions about the magic skill trees. Mimner wants to know if Dex helps with magic. Net says he thinks it does. It seems to increase minimal average damage, but the effect is hard to notice. Let me see. I'm trying to sort the questions into actual questions and answers in order as they come up on the screen. So a little vamping music. La la la, la la la, la la la. Just saying. Yeah, did everybody notice I just say things a lot? I do. Just saying. Intelligence helps with maximal damage, for sure. This is good to know. guys are confusing me. Net clarifies. There was a question from Thaddeus Crook. How do you mitigate reagent costs with all the magic? And Net says you do not have to use reagents on Tier 1 and Tier 2 spells. So obviously that helps mitigate. With others, the absence of reagents increases the focus cost and fizzle chance, but you do not need them. And 10 asks, can you cast lightning while moving? And Net says you can cast lightning while moving. It is great. Let's see. Jay Sansless asked, does moon abilities keep you in stealth through combat or does it stop? And Net says that moon abilities should stop in combat. When you use them, your opponent loses you though. So, let's see. Sorry guys, I know I missed the question that I've got an answer to, so I'm looking for it. Everybody's talking at once. It's a little interesting. I think he's talking about Bambino's question. Attack skill equals higher certs. Net says, well, there's only one magic combo. Fire arrow plus death ray equals fiery decay. Quite powerful damage over time. 10 asks, what combo do you find most effective? And he talked about the fire arrow plus death ray equals fiery decay. Anthonil says good combos equal anything that gives a damage over time. Net says there are a lot of combos with combat skills. Flame first plus nearly everything gives a fire damage over time. And Radonic Metzger wants to know if melee will ever stand a chance in PvP. I don't know. 10 says he hopes so. People are laughing about that one. There are still things that are in works. People should know this. Everything will level out. It used to be, not too many releases ago, that the mages were utterly and completely pointless, lame, useless, and completely unplayable. And now they are better than combat. So things will smooth out over time as they get more systems online and all that happy stuff. So anyhow, Anthonil says melee ruled PvP for a long time. Yeah, melee ruled period for a long time. Yeah, and then Kazan says what I said. It is only recently that magic has been able to stand a chance. Yep. Now they're all saying what I said. Jinx asked a question, while leveling up, does defensive skills get priority over damage skills, or the other way around? Jinx Net says, it depends. You need to use defensive skills to survive, but you should not overheal and focus on killing your enemies. And I've ran out of what people are saying. Vamping music. La la la. La la la. Okay. I could say, hey Net, type faster, but apparently I shouldn't do that because he types as fast as a cheetah. He said so, so we know it's true. Just saying. And now on to the final part of the lesson. Kaze and Phoenix Fire asks if the final part of the lesson is pie throwing. I don't know, maybe it's Lord British Pie. I'm just saying. That would be awesome. Net says, now how to use this knowledge in deck building. I call this a rule of 2/3. You want at least 1/3 of your glyphs dedicated to attack. And you want at least 1/3 of your glyphs dedicated to defense, counters, and resistance spells belonging in this category as well. Thaddeus is singing along with me in delayed time. That's awesome, Thad. Thank you. Net says, some glyphs work for both attack and defense, but you still need over 2/3 of your glyphs for attack and defense. As for the rest of your glyphs, deck management, mind wipe, or mind lock are great, and sadly are a must-have if you want to be competitive in any fight. And buffs, you might want to increase your speed, intelligence, or strength. I also highly recommend that when you reach level 50 or more, you get what I call a signature move. This is a single glyph in your deck that you do not use much, but it can change the tide of the battle. As a healer, I use Resurrection. Most mages will probably prefer Summons as their signature move. Oh, you guys are smart Alecks tonight. Okay, I'm going to take a little segue to go back to the smart Alecks. Amber Rain has perked up at Lord British Pie. Right now, she's wanting to make a jackknife pie. Just saying. Glares at a picture of Jackknife hugging Stephen Daniel. And Kazan Phoenix Fire, as with the comment about summons, says he wants a summon Phoenix. We heard this while everybody was on strike the other day. Yep, and let's see, Carlisle is looking for people for pie. Right, Amber? Okay, just saying. Alright, back to Net. It's his class. Quiet class. He says, he uses Resurrection. Most mages will probably prefer Summons. And then he says someone can use invisibility to kick quickly out of combat and run away. You should find something that fits well with your skills and the rest of your deck. So to sum it all up, think both of your offensive and defensive and get a signature move. Now before we get to the questions answers part, I will need 3 volunteers for the next lesson, preferably avatars at lower levels. I would so volunteer, but I'm so busy right now. Sorry, Nat. So sorry. No help to you. I'm just too cool for school. Let's see. We're looking for volunteers. Kazan is volunteering Jay. Jay's laughing. Jinx volunteered. Aw, Jinx is awesome. Thank you, Jinx. Awesome. Applause, applause. Yay! And the crowd goes wild. Okay. Luca is pretending to be invisible, but that's not working. That's just not working. Jay is level 12. I think level 12 entirely counts, Jay. And yeah. Come on, we need a 3rd noob, y'all. Somebody join. Somebody raise their hand. You guys can do it. I can't do it. I can't help and be reading every word you guys say. It's just impossible. la 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 la. I'm gonna keep la la laing until we get a third Lobby volunteer. Jay, you can't stab me. You just can't, because I am just too cool for school. Just saying. Okay, he wants to stab me for calling the helpers noobs. And Kazan says, if the noob fits. Oh, he's gonna need them for the next lesson. I see. Yeah, I still can't do it. I'll be doing this again then too. Sorry. Luca is an eternal noob. Oh, my sibling from another mother. Right there. I am a perma-noob. So, Jay, I say that with pride. Just saying. Come on, we need one more volunteer. If that doesn't work, I'll pretend for just a half a second to have learned a really lovely lesson from Lord British, and I will stomp my feet and hold my breath until I get my way. Don't make me do it, because I will. La 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 la. I'm making up my own songs as I la la la. It's not some other song, it's just what's in my head. Come on, people. They're just babbling, and it's very cute babbling. Let's see. Jinx has been told she can, he can, indeed, in fact, level between now and then, and that will be okay. And Net says we'll have a more practical lesson this next time. I don't think this lesson was in any way not practical. I think it was very useful and brought a couple things to my attention that I wasn't aware of. Just saying. Net wants to know if there's any questions. Does attack skill equal a chance of higher crits? Luca, Net's not done quite yet. I'm just saying, give him a minute. Final questions. Anthel replies that attack skill equals accuracy as far as Anthel can tell. By the way, hi Bambino, I'm waving to you. Just so you can feel special. Because you go to school where my kid goes to school, so that makes you like a little bitty rock star in my world. Net says he's not entirely sure. He thinks that his strength for combat and intelligence for magic rather than attack skill. Bambino asks another question again. He says, how about defense, resistance, and avoidance? Do these protect against magic? Athanil, I would say your name properly if I knew how to say it properly and if I didn't trip over my tongue, which, yeah. Sorry, it's not meant to be rude, I promise. Net believes avoidance helps protect against magic to answer Bambino's question. Kazan Phoenix Fire says resistance takes damage but reduces the amount you take. Avoidance is a chance not to take damage at all. 10 wants to know if Net can go into more detail of why Mind Wipe and Mind Lock are must-haves to be competitive. Net says sure. The deck is random. If you use your top skills, you will not have them in your hand. With Mind Wipe or Mind Lock, you can always use your top skills. Or if you need Douse or another health saving counter, it is much faster with Mind Wipe. And now they're talking about how I cannot say Athenil's name correctly. And Thaddeus says, don't worry, Amber pronounces his name wrong all the time. And Kazin Firefox, Phoenix Fire says Fire Lotus calls him the K-Zone. Okay, Athenil, why don't you tell me how to say your name so I cannot say it wrong? That would be awesome. Rhea wants to know, shit, I know how to say that one and I said it wrong anyhow. Rhea wants to know how many different decks should they use. And Net says, I would recommend one deck for PvE and one deck for PvP. You can have 2 decks for PvP after level 60. And 10 asks, do you lock Mind Wipe and Mind Lock in your deck? I never put a D in there. Oh my god. Okay, anyhow. Net answers 10. He uses them random. He does not, in fact, lock down his Mind Wipe and Mind Lock in his deck. He has 5 Mind Wipes, so he always has at least one ready to use. Net says stacking helps you to save focus, which is needed in longer fights, and you cannot stack locked glyphs. He says if there are no more questions, we can call it the end. Yeah. Okay. And yeah. Yes, so we're going to thank Net for a wonderful class because apparently he's calling the end of it. And I have enjoyed this tremendously. He thanks everybody for coming. Thanks Arianna for recording and me for commentating, which, yeah, I'll take that lightly since my commentary has been questionable. And, yeah, I believe that would be the end of the class. Thank you everybody for listening and for attending. And I hope everybody got something really useful for this. I'm glad to have provided this service to the community that wasn't able to actually attend but might be listening from work. And with that, I will return us to some music, which is still a little bit anger themed, a little battle-ishness. And I'm going to start with a another one of the Shroud of the Avatar community songs, and then go to a little more of my normal eclectic kind of feel. So, with that, I hope you've all enjoyed it, and back to the music.